Was there ever a moment where you lost your cool or you fought with other competitors?
Oh yeah. I mean, it didn't get too heated, but in episode 8, when there was $1 million, and we each had an opportunity to kind of go to the pyramid and take as much money as we could. My friend JC566 took 650,000, and it was just from my experience with him. He was a friend. I didn't expect it from him, and so I kind of called him out, or at least shared my experience with him. That night and the next day, and it was two grown men having a heated conversation. Again, like I believe that maximum growth comes between the pinnacle between support and challenge, and this was kind of a poke in the chest to a friend. And it was a good dialogue, but it wasn't like, no fists were going to be thrown. At the time, I was heated. Once you watch it, you realize, again, it's a game. He had an opportunity to not eliminate anybody and to take the money. And again, whether he pays down his entire mortgage or he pays down some of it, or he gets rid of all of his debt and now he can put money into kind of a 529 plan for his kids, like, good on him. Good on him. And then afterward, he kind of threw the alliance under the bus. And I think that's what kind of was like, man, come on, what are you doing? You just got your money, and now you're taking out on us. Like, what's this about?
It was interesting to see a little bit of a switch, though, in his behavior. Like you said, before and after he got his rewards.
Yeah. So I have to look back at it. It's a game. And I think in season 2, you'll see a lot more play like that.
But see, it's interesting you say here it's a game. But then also I see Jeremy not taking, and Dino, the $1 million, to which your point, it is a game, taking $1 million at that point and turning it down in episode 2. I saw Ben Shapiro's reaction to it. He got very heated. Did you see his video?
Yeah.
He got very upset that no one took the $1 million because he says at that point, it's a positive expected value. When you look at your chance of winning across all these people and you're offered 1/5 of the prize pool, it would be dumb not to take that money.
It was the expected value was like $1 million for anyone rejecting $1 million in that moment. But then if you did the math in terms of the amount of contestants left over and the prize pool at the end, if you evenly distribute that, it was like $5,000.
Yeah.
So it's $5,000 per chance or $1 million in your pocket. And everyone rejected that, which is insane.
Yes, I look at that as like, hey, it's a game. You're on a game show. And you have
but then again,
to win.
Graham would have like taken the first bribe opportunity. Like he's standing on
my hand would be over the thing, 10 grand.
No, it would have been the first round, eliminate everybody in your row and take like $10. He's like, well, it's a couple coffees, you know.
Well, I mean, I think it all depends on your intention in going to the games. Like I think like there's one reason to do anything, and it's as a sign to the universe of who you are. And it's like if you went into the games with people you love, if you told your wife, hey, here's what I'm going to do, here's my number, and guess what? If it means I'm going to have to sacrifice people to do it, I'm going to do it. If you haven't had those conversations and you want to show the world, or you want to show the world through your actions who you are, whether people are looking or people aren't, I think that's what we experienced with Dino, Tawana, Harrison, and Jeremy. Is this is who they are. Like if they got chosen to represent them, they kind of go, I'm not going to let you down. Granted, it cost them $1 million, but I truly don't think any of those people regret it. I've talked to them all, which is just wild to think about. I think of more of a testimony of who they are as a person versus kind of what they wanted to do in that situation.
Do you think a lot of players weaponize sympathy in the game? For example, they kind of acted as though they were feeling sympathetic towards other people's plights, but in actuality, their mind was set on the $10 million or the $5 million goal.
I didn't think so at the time. Maybe I'm naive or maybe I'm too trusting, but I didn't think people had ulterior motives with sympathy. But like after the show, it was so fun to like have friends call me like, hey, asking me different questions about every episode. And I have a neighbor who's a psychologist who I'm good friends with, and she would ask me these questions, and she goes, crying definitely is a tactic for narcissists or so-and-so to induce sympathy. Like, especially in situations where you're trying to get something, maybe that's not yours, or you want to get something from someone else. And so it made me kind of like look back at the episode and kind of go, wow, wait, did this person deliberately do this in order to get sympathy to keep moving on? I'm not sure.
See, that's the thing. It's like when a lot of people got eliminated, a lot of people would cry that they got eliminated. But at the same point, that's the objective of the game, is to continue on. And so I was wondering, it's like, okay, if I was in a game with other people and it's like, sure, we had a little bit of an alliance and everything like that. When you get out, like, I'm like, oh, no, no, no. So everyone feels sad for me. And they're like, okay, well, this guy's been through a lot. Let's, keep him around. We'll talk to him, get to know him. But in actuality, I'm just making it farther in the game.
Yeah, it's, and even in my alliance, in the top 10, we had 4 people in our alliance. It was me, Patrick 930, Gage 974, and JC 566. And the ultimate aim is we all want to win, but it would be awesome for all 4 of us to get there and then battle it out. So it's like, we understand that people are going to get eliminated and it's going to suck. And like, for example, Patrick 930, my closest friend in the games, he gets eliminated and I'm like bittersweet. Like, I'm sorry to see you go, but like, okay, I'm in the top 6. I got to keep moving on.
And how was the experience different as a competitor versus as a viewer? Were there certain things that maybe you didn't notice when you were competing and then you got, some secret drama or something maybe, or people were in cahoots that you didn't know about until you actually watched the video?
I'm curious too, did you see any of the episodes before they air?
So episode 1 and 2, we got to see in a premiere. So we got to see a day before they aired. But all the other episodes, we saw it just when you did. When it drops at kind of midnight on Thursday was when I would watch it.
Are you watching it right when it drops?
I would try
the moment it drops?
Sometimes, yeah. So sometimes my wife and I would like either try to stay awake or like I'd wake up in the middle of the night like, hey, do you want to watch it? But yeah, there was times I'd watch it at midnight. Sometimes I'd watch it in the morning. Sometimes I'd watch it during the day.
What was the most surprising thing watching it?
Just to see other people's perspectives. For me, I experience the game through my lens and through kind of my values. But to see other people's experiences was awesome. And I think the biggest takeaway, again, was seeing it as a game and kind of going, I respected or I understood the Habibi brothers' moves much differently watching it than I did kind of living it. I understood Akira's moves much different than I did living it. But it was just fun to see people who I got to know really well. Like once you get to the island, those top 50 people, we got to know super well, and to see their journey and how they played the game was like so fun as a viewer.
But before we get into that, men, real talk for a second, we are all afraid of losing our hair. And whether that's a receding hairline, thinning out the crown, or just thinning in general, the fear is there. But fortunately, there is a solution, and that would be our sponsor, Hims Hair Loss Solutions, where you could join hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back.
Hims offers a 100% online process that provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch, making treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted treatment options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months.
And if swallowing pills is a challenge for you, no problem at all, because Hims also has a serum, spray, and chewable options.
The process is simple and it's 100% online. Just answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment will be sent directly to your door.
So guys, start your absolutely free online visit today at hims.com/ICH.
That's HIMS.com/ICH for your personalized hair loss treatment options, or you could click the link down below in the description. HIMS.com/ICH.
Results vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil, prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Thank you to Hims for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast.